You open your banking app on a Sunday evening. You're not sure why. Maybe you're feeling optimistic, maybe you're feeling brave. You scroll through the past 2 weeks of transactions, and there it is.
Coffee here. Takeout there.
That subscription you forgot you were still paying for. A random online order you barely remember making. A lunch that cost more than you meant to spend because the cheap option didn't seem worth the effort that day. None of it feels significant in the moment. That's the thing. Every single purchase felt completely reasonable when you made it. But staring at all of it together, you feel that quiet, creeping dread. The one that whispers, where does it all go? You're not buying designer bags. You're not going on extravagant holidays every month. You're not doing anything that looks reckless from the outside. You're just living. And somehow, living is expensive enough to make it nearly impossible to get ahead. If that sounds familiar, you are not alone, and you are not broken. You are simply operating on habits that were never designed to build wealth. They were designed to feel normal. And today, we are going to fix that. Hi, you can call me Miss Money, and I spend way too much time thinking about the gap between what people earn and what they actually keep. If you're someone who works hard, earns a decent income, but somehow reaches the end of every month wondering why your savings look the same as they did 6 months ago, make sure you hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it helps you out. I post new videos every single day, and trust me, you're going to want to stick around for what's coming. Today, I'm going to walk you through 10 habits that have genuinely, materially changed the way I manage money. I want to warn you up front. These habits are not exciting. There is no crypto tip here. No side hustle that will make you rich by Friday. No secret investment strategy that the wealthy don't want you to know about. These are boring habits. Deeply, aggressively boring. And that is exactly why they work. Here's the thing that the financial content world doesn't want to admit. The flashy stuff doesn't actually build wealth for most people. The viral video about turning $1,000 into $50,000. The influencer who claims their dropshipping business made them a millionaire in 8 months. The endless stream of passive income content that quietly requires about 60 hours a week of active effort to maintain. That content gets clicks because it feels like a shortcut. And our brains are wired to love shortcuts. But here's what most people don't realize. The research on how people actually genuinely build wealth is almost comically boring. According to a survey by Ramsey Solutions of over 10,000 millionaires, 79% were self-made with no inheritance. Only 31% averaged $100,000 or more in annual income throughout their careers. The average millionaire reached that status after 28 years of consistent, unglamorous behavior. 8 out of 10 invested in employer retirement plans. Not a single millionaire in the study cited single stock picking as a major factor in their success. 28 years of boring. That is the actual wealth-building story that nobody wants to make a TikTok about. So, let's get into it. Habit 1. Drive a car that's older than feels comfortable. I know. Stay with me. The average new car payment hit $772 per month in late 2025, according to Edmunds data. That's $9,264 a year before you've paid for insurance, fuel, maintenance, or registration. And here's the part that should genuinely alarm you. According to Kelley Blue Book, a new car loses approximately 20% of its value the moment it leaves the dealership. By the end of year 1, depreciation typically reaches 25 to 30%. A $48,000 vehicle is worth $33,000 to $36,000 in 12 months. You have lost more money than most people save in an entire year, and you haven't even had the first service yet. This is where it gets really interesting. Someone making $772 monthly car payments who instead drives a paid-off older vehicle and invests that same $772 per month at an 8% average return accumulates approximately $170,000 over 15 years. $170,000. For the privilege of having a newer car smell. Now, you might be thinking, but older cars break down. Here's the reality. A 5-year-old Toyota or Honda has already absorbed the steepest depreciation curve. It doesn't need major repairs for years. Modern vehicles reliably run 150,000 to 200,000 miles with basic maintenance. Drive it for 3 or 4 years. sell it before the likelihood of major repairs increases, and buy another reliable used vehicle. You're essentially recycling one pool of money instead of pouring money into depreciation and interest every single month. The research on millionaire behavior confirms this pattern embarrassingly well. The top 3 cars driven by millionaires? Toyotas, Hondas, and Fords. Not the brands you'd expect. Reliable, practical, completely unglamorous. Transportation gets you from point A to point B. The journey in a $5,000 Honda arrives at the same destination as the journey in a $55,000 SUV. One person arrives building wealth. The other arrives destroying it. This habit is uncomfortable because of what other people might think. That ego cost is real, but it has never once paid anyone's mortgage. Habit 2. Eat the same meals on rotation. This sounds deeply unhinged to people who treat meals as entertainment. It sounds completely obvious to people who've studied how financially efficient households actually operate. Hear me out. Having 4 or 5 core meals that you rotate through each week accomplishes something most budgeting strategies fail to do. It makes your spending predictable. When you buy the same ingredients repeatedly, you know exactly what things cost. There are no surprises. No impulse decisions at the grocery store because you walked in without a plan. No staring into the fridge at 7 p.m. wondering what to make and then ordering delivery because thinking is hard. Here's what most people don't realize about food waste. The average household throws away approximately $1,500 worth of food every year.
Not eats.
Throws away. Directly into the bin. That's money you spent, food you optimistically purchased with every intention of cooking, that rotted while you ordered takeout instead. Meal rotation eliminates this. When you cook the same meals regularly, you know exactly how much of each ingredient gets used. Nothing sits in the back of the fridge developing a personality. You become genuinely good at making your core dishes because you've made them dozens of times. And the mental energy you waste every day deciding what to eat?
Gone.
Dinner is whatever's next in the rotation. The objection is always the same. Won't this get boring? Surprisingly, no. Rotating through 5 meals means you eat each one roughly once a week. You can vary sauces, seasonings, sides. You can update the rotation with the seasons. The structure gives you freedom rather than taking it away. Households that adopt this consistently report spending 30 to 40% less on groceries than households that improvise every week. Habit 3. Eat everything you buy before buying more. This extends the previous habit, but deserves its own attention. Before your next grocery shop, empty the fridge. Empty the freezer. Empty the pantry. Actually look at what you already have and make meals from it before you buy anything new. According to USDA data, Americans waste 30 to 40% of their food supply. That's approximately $1,500 per year for a family of 4 going directly into landfill. Food waste is the #1 material in landfills, accounting for over 24% of municipal solid waste. Let that sit for a moment. The food you bought, with money you earned, is the single biggest category of waste in the entire garbage system. The simple fix is to designate 1 week per month as a use what you have week. No grocery shopping. Make meals from whatever remains. Get creative. Only after genuinely exhausting your existing inventory do you restock. This one habit can reduce household food spending by 15 to 25% while eliminating the guilt of watching things you paid for slowly go bad in front of you. Habit 4. Make your coffee and drinks at home. Look, I'm not going to tell you that cutting out your morning coffee will make you a millionaire. That advice is tired, and it misses the point. But let me show you the actual numbers, because they're more interesting than the usual version of this argument. The average specialty coffee drink costs $6 to $8 at a coffee shop. Someone buying one daily on workdays spends roughly $1,500 to $2,000 a year on coffee alone. Coffee brewed at home from quality beans costs somewhere between 25 cents and $1 per cup. Daily home coffee, approximately $150 to $350 per year. The difference, around $1,650 to $1,850 annually, invested at 8% returns over 30 years becomes approximately $220,000. That is not a rounding error. That is a meaningful portion of a retirement fund, and it came from a beverage. This is where it gets really interesting, though, because this isn't really about coffee. It's about what researchers call the aggregation of marginal losses, small daily purchases that individually feel insignificant, but collectively represent a massive annual leak. There's a simple illustration of this. Spending just $27.40 per day on small purchases, a coffee here, an energy drink there, a snack from the convenience store on the way home, adds up to $10,000 a year. $10,000 on things you could have made at home, brought from home, or simply not had. Save the coffee shop for social occasions where the experience is the point. Make the daily consumption at home where the only purpose is caffeine delivery. The ritual of making your own coffee can genuinely be enjoyable rather than a deprivation. A decent home espresso setup or pour-over station can produce something equal to or better than most chains. You might actually prefer it. Habit 5. Bring your own food everywhere. Lunch bought out costs $12 to $18 in most cities. A meal prepared at home costs $3 to $5 for equivalent nutritional value. Someone buying lunch 5 days a week spends approximately $3,000 to $4,500 annually on midday meals. Someone bringing lunch from home spends approximately $750 to $1,300. The annual saving is somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 just from lunch. The principle extends to travel, which is where people consistently underestimate how much they're spending. Airport food carries extraordinary markups. Restaurants at tourist destinations cost 30 to 50% more than the equivalent meal anywhere else. Vacation food spending can reach $100 to $200 per day for a family without anyone feeling like they're being particularly extravagant. The alternative is simple. When you arrive somewhere new, find a grocery store first. Stock breakfast items, snacks, and simple ingredients. Eat out once or twice for the genuine experience of local food. Absolutely do that. But don't default to restaurants for every single meal out of habit and convenience. The difference between a week-long trip with fully catered dining and one with selective dining out can be $300 to $400. That difference funds your next trip. This habit is unglamorous. Nobody is posting stories about eating grocery store food in a hotel room. But the people who do this consistently travel more often because their trips cost less. The economics are simple. Habit 6. Shop in person rather than online for non-essentials. This one is counterintuitive because online shopping feels like it should be more efficient. In reality, online shopping has made spending money nearly frictionless, and friction is the only thing standing between your impulse and your bank account. According to consumer behavior research, online shoppers spend 15 to 30% more than in-store shoppers on equivalent purchases. The platforms are engineered specifically for this outcome. Recommended products based on what you just looked at. One-click ordering with saved payment details. Countdown timers. Only 3 left in stock. Every obstacle between your momentary desire and a completed transaction has been deliberately, systematically removed. Shopping in person reintroduces friction. You have to travel somewhere. Walk through aisles.
Carry things.
Wait in line. Each of those micro moments is an opportunity to ask yourself, do I actually need this? Is this worth the effort? Here's a reset that works surprisingly well. For 1 month, delete shopping apps from your phone. Remove saved payment information from websites. Make a personal rule that non-essential purchases must be made in person. The items you genuinely need will be worth the trip. The items you merely wanted in a passing impulse will not survive the friction of having to go and get them. After a month of this, the patterns of mindless online purchasing that have been quietly draining your account begin to break. And here's what most people don't realize until they try it. Many of those purchases you would have made online never happen at all. Not because you couldn't afford them, because you simply forgot you wanted them by the time you would have had to make an effort. Habit 7. Pick a wardrobe and stop buying clothes. The average person spends approximately $1,800 per year on clothing, according to Bureau of Labor Statistics data. Much of that clothing gets worn a handful of times before being donated, forgotten at the back of the wardrobe, or thrown away entirely. Fast fashion has created an expectation of constant wardrobe rotation. New styles emerge monthly. Social media makes it look like wearing the same outfit twice is some kind of social failure. This pressure is both expensive and, I would argue, largely manufactured by an industry that profits from you feeling like your clothes are perpetually inadequate. The alternative is a capsule wardrobe, a core set of quality, versatile basics that work together, that fit well, that reflect your actual style, and that you then stop adding to. You wear the same things regularly. You become what people online call an outfit repeater. And in exchange, you get no decision fatigue about what to wear, no time lost browsing, no overfull wardrobe of things you bought and never loved, no guilt about waste. The cost per wear calculation matters more than the purchase price. A $200 jacket worn 150 times costs $1.33 per wear. A $30 jacket worn 3 times costs $10 per wear. Cheap things worn rarely are far more expensive than quality things worn constantly. Millionaires, according to the same Ramsey Solutions research, don't constantly update their wardrobes. They find what works and stick with it. The time and money not spent on clothes gets redirected toward things that actually accumulate value. Habit 8. Pay yourself first, before anything else. Most people handle money in the same sequence. Paycheck arrives. Bills get paid. Life gets lived. Whatever remains at the end of the month, if anything remains, gets moved to savings. Here's the thing, this sequence virtually guarantees that savings will always be minimal. Spending naturally expands to fill available money. It's not a personal failing. It's a documented psychological pattern called Parkinson's law applied to finances. When savings come last, they get squeezed out by everything that came before them. The fix is structural, not motivational. Treat your savings and investment contributions like bills, non-negotiable, paid first before anything else. The moment your paycheck arrives, automatic transfers move a fixed amount into your retirement account, your emergency fund, and your investment account. These transfers happen before you see the money in your spending account. What remains after paying yourself is what's available for everything else. Your lifestyle adapts to that smaller number. The psychology behind this is elegant in its simplicity. You cannot spend money you never see. Automatic transfers remove willpower from the equation entirely. And willpower, as it turns out, is an inexhaustible resource. You will not out-discipline your way to financial security if the structure of your money management requires constant conscious restraint. Automation removes the battle entirely. Start with whatever amount doesn't require heroics to maintain. Then increase it by 1% every few months. You'll barely feel the adjustment, but across a decade, the cumulative impact is enormous. Habit 9. Live 2 years behind your income. When income increases, a raise, a promotion, a new role, the natural and almost universal response is immediate lifestyle expansion. More money means a nicer place to live, a newer car, better restaurants, more of everything. This is called lifestyle creep, and it is why people earning extraordinary salaries often carry the same financial stress as people earning half as much. Goldman Sachs research found that 41% of Americans earning between $300,000 and $500,000 report living paycheck to paycheck. 40% of those earning over $500,000 say the same. Their expenses didn't just grow with their income. Their expenses grew to perfectly match their income at every level, leaving no margin at any stage. The 2-year rule is this: when your income goes up, pretend it hasn't.
Keep the same apartment for now.
Keep the same car. Keep the same spending patterns. Bank the entire difference between what you now earn and what you were previously living on. Your lifestyle still improves over time, just on a delay. You still get to enjoy your earnings. But the lag creates compounding savings that work for you for years before you ever spend them. Someone earning $65,000 and living on $55,000 has $10,000 annually to invest. When their income rises to $80,000 but their lifestyle stays at $55,000, they suddenly have $25,000 annually to invest. The wealth accumulation doesn't just improve, it accelerates dramatically while their actual daily quality of life remains exactly the same. This habit is deeply uncomfortable to maintain because you watch people around you upgrade while you hold steady. But here's what most people don't realize about that discomfort. The people upgrading are often doing so on debt or depleted savings, performing prosperity rather than building it. The financial position you build through deliberate restraint creates options they will genuinely never have. Habit 10. Build a hobby that can make money. This final habit is different from the others. Instead of reducing what goes out, it focuses on expanding what comes in through something you would do anyway. According to research cited by Inc., 65% of self-made millionaires have at least 3 income streams. Not 1, not 2, at least 3. Now, I know the idea of building additional income streams feels overwhelming when you're already managing a full-time job and a life. But here's the reframe that changes everything. Instead of starting a business from nothing, monetize something you already do. If you enjoy fitness, document your journey and the knowledge you've built. If you're skilled at a craft, sell what you make. If you're knowledgeable about a topic, genuinely knowledgeable in a way that took you time to develop, teach it. If you enjoy writing, there are people who need good writers and will pay for them. If you're excellent at your professional work, there are likely others in adjacent fields who would pay for your expertise as a consultant. The barrier to monetizing existing interests has genuinely never been lower. Platforms exist for selling physical products, digital products, services, content, and expertise at essentially zero startup cost. The infrastructure is already built. You just need to participate. This doesn't require working 80-hour weeks or burning yourself out. Even 1 to 5 focused hours per week directed toward building something income-generating can produce an extra few $100s per month, depending on your approach and consistency. That money doesn't improve your lifestyle. It goes directly into the earlier habits on this list. Bigger emergency fund. Faster debt payoff. Larger investment contributions. More fuel entering the system means the compounding accelerates. There's also a substitution effect worth noting. Time spent building something productive generally generates money. Time spent on passive entertainment generally costs it. The shift from primarily consumptive hobbies to primarily generative ones doesn't just increase income, it decreases spending simultaneously. Both levers move in your favor at once. Now let me show you what these habits actually add up to, because the math is where this gets genuinely motivating. Driving an older car instead of financing new ones, save $5,000 to $8,000 per year. Eating at home with meal rotation, save $3,000 to $5,000 per year. Making your own coffee and drinks, save $1,500 to $2,000 per year. Bringing food instead of buying out, save $2,000 to $3,000 per year. Reducing impulse purchases through deliberate friction, save $2,000 to $4,000 per year. Combined, these 5 habits alone represent $13,500 to $22,000 in annual savings compared to typical spending patterns. Invested at 8% returns over 25 years, $15,000 annually becomes approximately $1.2 million. The boring habits produce millionaire outcomes. The exciting spending patterns produce paycheck-to-paycheck stress regardless of income level. Here's what I want to leave you with, because I think it's the most important thing in this entire video. None of these habits require you to earn more money. None of them require sacrifice in the way we usually imagine sacrifice. Giving up things you love, living in misery, denying yourself any pleasure in the present for some hypothetical future reward. What they actually require is a shift in where you get your sense of progress. Right now, for most of us, spending feels like progress. A new purchase feels like a reward. An upgrade feels like evidence that you're doing well. What these habits do is quietly, gradually transfer that feeling of progress to a different set of actions. Watching your investment account grow. Watching your debt number shrink. Watching your emergency fund reach a number that means nothing can financially destabilize you. That feeling, once you experience it, is more satisfying than any purchase you've ever made. I say that not as motivation speak, but as a practical observation from someone who has been on both sides of that equation. The choice in front of you right now is not between enjoying your life and building wealth. The choice is between prioritizing the appearance of success through consumption and prioritizing actual success through accumulation. One of those paths looks great in the short term. The other one quietly, unsexy, boringly compounds into the kind of financial freedom most people only dream about. The average person can't cover a $1,000 emergency without going into debt. The average person carries more credit card debt than savings. The average person will work until their body gives out because they never built anything that generates income without their labor. That average is the result of exciting spending patterns and the absence of boring saving habits. Don't be average. Be boring. Be gloriously, deliberately, unashamedly boring with your money. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make starting today, and those decisions don't have to be dramatic. They just have to be consistent. Pick one habit from this list.
Start it this week.
Not all 10, not a complete overhaul, just one. Let that one become automatic. Then add another. Then another. Slowly, steadily, the boring habits layer on top of each other until they've compounded into something extraordinary. If this video gave you something useful, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. I put out new content every single day, and I promise it will always be honest,
Make sure you
practical,
hit that like button
and focused on your
subscribe
actual
for more
financial life
financial
rather
tips.
than someone else's highlight reel. I'm Miss Money, and I'll see you in the next one.